long time has passed since we saw The Incredible Hulk, and even though the idea about a sequel was there, planted in the first movie through some elements here and there, it never came to fruition due to different visions about the character from the company and Norton himself, with Disney's purchase over Marvel Studios halting everything way back in 2009. However, we should not lose out hope just yet, as the future might become greener for the Green Goliath very shortly. One thing many people would agree on, and can rely on in the superhero movie genre, is that the sequel stigma will always be there, which is probably the best option any movie of the said genre has. And on the other hand, we have 2008's The Incredible Hulk, a project from Marvel Studios that the company sort of tried to forget and never speak about. Hence, the movie's not even listed as an official movie of the wider MCU, which on one hand is understandable, considering many fingers are pointing to the fact that it does not take place in the same universe as all the other Marvel movies from 2008's Iron Man onward. More than a decade has passed, and we're still waiting on The Incredible Hulk sequel, a sequel that was in fact at one point talked about so much. So one might wonder what such a property would have looked like if the sequel was eventually made sometime in the past. The important thing to clarify is that the company and the people associated with the movie were once quite open about plans to do sequels to this feature. Ed Norton himself, the actor who played the titular character, even pitched an idea to certain people at Marvel about his idea of the character, which then went on to open a whole other side of the character, and so many stories to tell about the entire thing. And in today's world, we have faced yet another turmoil regarding the topic, a sequel to one of the quickly forgotten gems of Marvel Studios, which is why we took the liberty to look through the files, all the interviews, and see where everything stands. So, bear with us as we travel through the past and tell you what turned out to be. In the days leading up to the movie's debut in theaters, Louis Leterrier, the director of the movie, started referencing a potential sequel, giving out some comments about the final shot of the movie, a scene that would smash that like button just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, a scene that would showcase Bruce Banner's eyes turning green on purpose, which would then confirm that Banner indeed has gotten a hold of the Green Goliath and finally learned how to control the beast within him. Something that a sequel would eventually explore even further, with the project itself setting the stage for the Hulk of becoming a more heroic version of the character in the future. Louis even had a backup plan, who said that if everything did not work out, he was ready to make him a villain by the end of the movie, and a force to be reckoned with, one that had to be stopped by the Avengers. Other elements from the movie, like Tim Blake Nelson's Dr. Samuel Stearns getting drops of blood into his gaping wound on his forehead, causing his head to slightly expand, and the character turning into the villain known by the name of the Leader, were intentionally used as Easter eggs for a sequel, hints towards what should the fans expect once the sequel is announced of coming, without any footage beforehand whatsoever. Meanwhile, Ty Burrell, a supporting character, served as another love interest for Betty Ross, something the sequel would have been perfect for, with the movie itself not missing the opportunity to turn him into his superpowered form from the comics, Dark Samson. Shortly after the mediocre, but not exceptional box office debut of the movie, Universal shared some ideas about their interests in expanding the project into a full-fledged franchise, a time when Kevin Feige himself decided to meddle with things and said that the movie was a success for the company, there's no denying that, but that Marvel Studios were more interested in getting the Avengers movie off the ground at that time, overshadowing the fact that Marvel was not interested in making a sequel of the movie, or at least not at that time, with the Iron Man sequel zooming towards its May 2010 release, 2 years before the so much talked about Avengers hit the theaters around the world. The entire chain of events sort of pushed aside the whole sequel idea, and the entire thing went into a state of radio silence for quite a while, with the prospects of the eventual sequel becoming smaller by the minute, and everything going to a halt in July 2010, when Norton departed from the role, which at the time meant that every idea that was alive at the time was swept under the rug. In 2012, Kevin Feige brought the idea of a Hulk solo movie once again, which probably came through as a result of Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of the character, and the positive critical acclaim thrown at the synergy the two had at the time. And even though Feige did not rule out the idea of a Hulk solo outing, seeing where things were standing at the time, it looked nearly impossible to pull something like that off. Several elements from the collaboration between Universal and Marvel Studios for The Incredible Hulk were still lingering within the MCU, with William Hurt's General Thunderbolt Ross finally, after an 8-year absence, was seen on screen in the events of Captain America: Civil War, with him having a few more appearances in the MCU after that movie. Tim Roth's Emil Blonsky, aka The Abomination, also made his return in the role during the events of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, taking part in an illegal underground fighting tournament alongside Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth 616. So, we can see that the entire project is not put aside completely, but rather more or less forgotten as it stands right now. And we think that Marvel will try to take some elements from that movie and implement them in their own projects for the MCU, and probably never deliver the much anticipated The Incredible Hulk 2, and go far and beyond and give us a completely new Hulk movie with an entirely different narrative. Who knows? We might be getting some news after all the rumors about this mysterious Hulk project. With everything said and done, we can see that, despite all of the effort, a sequel never came to be. And according to many resources, one of the main reasons why the sequel never happened was due to Norton and Marvel Studios having very different versions about the said sequel. During the editing of the first movie, a lot of character development was cut, with director Leterrier saying that there were around 70 minutes of deleted footage at the end. Obviously, this did not make Norton happy, and his meeting with the executives at Marvel turned into a shouting match, which is never a good thing. What made matters even worse were the leaks to the press, after which the speculations about Norton not reprising the role quickly picked up pace, after which Norton departed from the role, as we said before. Meanwhile, in 2009, Marvel Studios got purchased by Disney and virtually ended any chance of another solo Hulk movie in the MCU, as the distribution rights stayed at Universal. A bright side for the Hulk character could prove to smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I mean, it could prove to be the upcoming She-Hulk series on Disney+, a place where the character can shine together with his cousin, Jennifer Walters. And who knows, maybe something can come out of everything, especially knowing just how big of a mentor role Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner will have towards the young gun. Check out these videos next!